sweet friends, it's Elizabeth with Abundant Apartment Lifestyles, and on today's episode, we're gonna do evening routine for apartment living. My nighttime routine, there's a secret if you stay until the very end of how I made an extra $10,000, yes, $10,000 by doing this nighttime routine. Let's go ahead and dive in. If you find this video helpful, smash that like button and make sure you dance your fingers over to click subscribe with the bell notification, and check out our other routine videos where we have morning routine down in the playlist below. Let's dive in. So the first thing that I like to do for my nighttime routine in the evening to start winding things down, right? Like, I don't know about you, but I live a very high cadence, high energy lifestyle. That's the way I like it. And so at nighttime, I'm super intentional about taking the energy down and being intentional to slow it down so my body can rest, my mind can rest, and that I can have rest. And one of the ways that I do that is with fond bone broth in the evening. After dinner time, usually around 7 o'clock at night, I make the kitchen closed in my apartment, and I'll go ahead and put on my stove a cup to a half a cup of fond bone broth. And this video is sponsored by Fond Bone Broth. Thank you so much, Fond, for sponsoring today's video. I love fond bone broth, and these shipments I purchased because I love it so much. Sincerely, I pay for my own auto ship because I believe so strongly in fond bone broth because of the healing ingredients. I'll link down below our 7 bone broth benefits of why I have bone broth in the evening and why I have bone broth in general down in the description link below. But that's one of my nighttime habits, one of my night routine habits, is having a cup to 2 cups of warm fond bone broth, even in the summertime, because of the healing properties that come with it. And I don't know about you, but at nighttime, I can find myself snacking. And so having fond bone broth, because of the gelatinous fats in it, keeps me full. It's also really, really good for gut health. And that, if you saw my morning routine, I talk about having fond bone broth also in the morning time, usually around 10 or 11 before my lunch, if not my lunch for the day. So I'll conclude the day of when I'm done with work, done with dinner, getting ready to like move on to the next time block. And I usually do in 2-hour time blocks. So from like 7 to 9 p.m., kick off the nighttime routine with having a cup of fond bone broth for the healing benefits. I will link down below for you to get on auto ship. You absolutely need to try this. Try this for your night routine. I promise you, you'll say, Elizabeth, thank you so much. It helps for me with stress. It helps heal my body. It helps with just taking things down a notch without having caffeine. I found that I was having caffeine or coffee at night and it was wiring me. This has been awesome. Fond has been awesome. The past, I don't know, I've been doing it for 9 months now, 10 months now, of taking it down a notch when I'm not doing intermittent fasting earlier in the day, having this as part of my nighttime routine. Because it tastes so good, and also the healing benefits. So also at night, then I move and transition into doing skincare. I'm a big skincare proponent of being proactive as opposed to reactive to skincare things. So one of the items that I do use is a microdermabrasion machine that I purchased to have in my home. Since quarantine, and part of my quarantine review routine is I don't go out to the spa anymore. I hope to soon, but not recently. I haven't. And I purchased this microdermabrasion machine to do at home. I absolutely love it. This company does not know me from Adam, but I will link down below in the description link their machine if you want to do it at home. It helps with my skin. I notice a dramatic difference because I do film, like today I'm filming 18 videos. I film a lot for YouTube and for social media. And so my skin needs to have extra care for it. And at nighttime, that's one of my it helps to wind me down. A, it helps with my skincare, but B, more importantly, it helps to take my brain, it transitions into the next thing of not in work mode, but more in relaxation mode, slow down mode. And by me being intentional with doing microdermabrasion, it helps with that. I don't do microdermabrasion every day. I usually do it every 3rd day. Sometimes if I'm feeling super footloose and fancy free, I will use it very lightly every other day, but usually it's every 3 days. But my skincare routine at night is, of course, every single night as part of my nighttime routine. The next thing that I usually do after I've already had my fond bone broth is I will put in one of the Crest 3D professional strips. I use Professional Effects. I do not use, they have other kinds. I found after testing a whole bunch of them, Professional Effects is actually, for my teeth, has been the best for helping with whitening. And so I use these are for 30 minutes for the top and bottom strips for those. I usually pop those bad boys in. That also has prevented me from nighttime snacking. I go from the fond bone broth into skincare, then into doing my teeth. And then after I do my whitening for 30 minutes, I don't feel like eating anything. In fact, I won't. The kitchen is closed. I know that I'm whitening my teeth and that I don't want to, you know, consume anything. It takes away the fun of consuming anything at nighttime. So I make sure I get my professional, it's the Professional Effects, the Luxe Professional Effects is the best one that I have found for teeth whitening. My next nighttime routine is setting out my workout clothes. Have I worked out every single day? No, but I try to be mindful and intentional to set myself up. My nighttime routine consists of productivity for the next day. If I have my workout clothes laid out, even if it's just for a walk, being intentional about moving my body or lifting weights, I have found better success with that. So I lay out my workout clothes the night before to help ensure that I work out or lift weights, move my body, or do a routine within my apartment. Sometimes I'll lift weights within, like just in my living room of my apartment. My next nighttime routine tip is that I set out my meal prep for the next day and also fill up all of my glass water bottles. You may have seen in my Amazon haul video, which I will link down below in the playlist. I usually fill out my glass water bottles of filtered water, and then I also have sparkling water, my own sparkling water system, and I fill those up so they're nice and cold, already in the refrigerator. It's already set for me. So the next day when I wake up, I can have some cold water. I also don't have to worry about like, where's my water? I can just grab it. And if I need to go into work, into my home work office in my apartment, it's very simple to go ahead and do that because it's already set up. Usually the night before, I will also pull out some meat. I love using butcher box meat, which I will link down below for you too, and set that out. It's frozen the night before so I can cook it the next day if it's hamburger or chicken or some other healthful meal to adhere to my meal plan. I like setting out the night before so the meat is thawed and all set to cook either the next day's evening dinner or using another frozen meal from the night before. And the next thing that I do is I change into my pajamas, and I got this kimono, y'all. I just got it off Amazon, nothing super fancy. It has been a lifesaver. Who knew Amazon had such great Amazon haul clothes? Put in your question of the day is, do you want to see an Amazon clothes haul? Put down below. This bad boy helps me with my nighttime routine. When I put, it's like a Superman cape. When I put on my little kimono, it's so slick. Like, make sure you wash it first. But when I put it on, it feels soft. It feels like wind down time. It feels like nighttime. It takes me to being a kid and having some sort of structure and routine with my nighttime routine. So I love putting on my kimono over my pajamas. And while I'm doing that, I usually go through and put in my journal. I have a goals journal. I'm very intentional about my goals. And this was the secret before that I had said at the beginning of the video, how I made an extra $10,000 really easily was actually through my goal journal. I write down my goals. I write down my intentions when I'm having my quiet time and meditation time of where I'm doing my personal beliefs and things like that. I will write down goals. And so with those, reviewing those has made me an extra $10,000 because I've been intentional. I've been focused. I've meditated on it. It feels in alignment with my value system to execute on that the next day. The last thing we think about before we go to bed is usually what our brain processes on. We can literally make new stem cell trees, the neural pathways in our brain, by focusing on things like this. So I carve out 5, 10, 15 minutes. Usually it's about 5 minutes, but usually if I can get to 10 or 15, I'm happier about that. I will review my goals. What are my goals for the next week, the next month, the next 3 months? People talk to me about doing 5-year plan goals, and I'm like, boo, I don't even know what's gonna happen like at Christmas time. So I'm intentional only to do 1 week, 1 month, 3 month, a quarter intervals. And that's how I made the extra $10,000. There were some extra things that I had thought about on doing my goal review. And I realized, oh my word, this opportunity, I'm not going to specifically say what it was, did pop up that enabled me. If I had not been doing my goals, reviewing them and writing them down each night before I went to bed, it wouldn't have come to pass. So I do want to encourage you. That's how I made an extra $10,000 through doing my nighttime routine. To try it. Try writing out your goals. It can only be, it doesn't have to be a lot. It can be 5 goals. What are my next 5 goals for this week, this month, this quarter, not too far ahead, but that I can actually execute on. And those are, I call them sprints, running the sprint for the next 3 months of what am I going to do in that 3 months? What do I want to accomplish? Sometimes my goal review is rest more. It's not necessarily career oriented. It can be have deeper relationships or focusing in on wellness. It doesn't necessarily have to be career focused, but it certainly does help. It certainly does help. So those are my nighttime routine. If you found this video helpful, smash that like button. Make sure you click subscribe and go ahead and get on auto ship with foodborne broth. I found such incredible benefits with being on auto ship. I get it every couple of weeks, sent directly to my apartment. It's delicious. It's really simple. You can literally just pour this into I poured it on my stove, warm it up. Do not put it in the microwave because of the metal on the labels. Just simply pour it into another container and warm it up over on the stove. It's absolutely delicious. There's so many different flavors. I absolutely love them all. Conductor, Inside Job, Youth Tonic, Bone. I mean, there's just so many. Liquid Light. There's so, I've had them all and I love them all. So I highly recommend them. They do have a bone spur, which is a little spicy one. If you're a spicy hot tamale, you might like those too. So go ahead, get on auto ship. I will link that in the description link below, and make sure you answer our question of the day. Do you want to see an Amazon clothing haul for your apartment? Let me know in the comments below. I look forward to seeing you guys again next time. Make it a powerful day. Bye guys.